Radio. Today we are diving back into the CD collection, and we are talking about one band and one band only. That band is The Replacements. Great alternative band. Kind of started out a little like a punk band, kind of a little. I don't know if they were ever like grouped into like a hardcore punk category. Perhaps. I mean, some of their early stuff is really kind of garage, kind of like heavier, like punk sound, like just kind of like messy and stuff. I mean, messy's a good description for the Replacements. Certainly, their live shows, I mean, have been famously over the years just kind of were all over the place. I never got to see them live back in the day. I did go see them live on their reunion tour. I mean, but it was just, two of the members, obviously Bob Stinson's passed away, and then Chris Mars, I guess, didn't want to participate, and then Slim Dunlop, I think he had some like health issues. I don't know if that might have even been. So I know they put out like an EP, like a vinyl EP, like 10-inch or something to, I think it was called like Songs for Slim, that was kind of made to kind of help with like his medical bills. I don't know if the reunion tour, if was also kind of done to maybe help him out a little bit, perhaps. I don't remember exactly, but I know that record was. But I saw them on that live show, and it was good. It wasn't necessarily the Replacements, but it was a really good show, and enjoyed that quite a bit. But let's dive in. We've got first up, Sorry Ma Forgot to Take Out the Trash. This is their early releases when they're on Twin Tone. Later on, they go to Sire Records, more of like a major label. And like I said, this is like more like a punk record. Their sound starts to kind of like really by the end of like their studio albums, it's really kind of mellowed out a bit and just kind of more like alternative, more mature. I don't know if that's the right word, but just a really good collection of songs. There's a handful of tunes on this one. Taking a Ride, I really like. What other ones? Love You Till Friday, Raised in the City. There's some other tracks on here that I like, but I like some of the later stuff a lot more. Get a little more appealing to me as the records go on. But that was their first record. Then we get originally this was an EP, the Replacement Stink, and it's got 8 tracks on it. I think they reissued a bunch of these and added some more tracks to it. Like I think if you buy like the reissued version of Stink, I think there's like twice as many songs. I think I could be wrong, but another a nice collection of kind of like these angry punk songs, written by these young rebel rousers. How you like that? Paul Westerberg was, I guess, the main songwriter, and really talented dude. Knew his way around a catchy song. Then we get Hootenanny, and Buck Hill's my favorite track on here. I really like that one. But another collection of really good tunes. There's a really good book, Trouble Boys, I believe is the name of it. Really like thick book, just going through their whole history, and just worth a read if you haven't. If you're a Replacements fan, or even just like an alternative rock fan, want to read an excellent book, I highly recommend that. Then we get, I think, what a lot of people consider to be their classic record, Let It Be. I like this record. A later one that's coming up is something I like even more, but it is a really good collection of songs. This is where some of that punk sort of angst starts kind of drifting away and becomes more about just writing some solid catchy, like alternative rock songs. I Will Dare, Tommy Gets His Tonsils Out, Androgynous, which is a song that everybody loves. Unsatisfied is another one. I love Senior Video, Gary's Got a Boner is really funny. 16 Blue, Answer Machine, yeah, excellent record. And certainly can understand why so many people claim that to be their favorite album by the band. Then they slide on over to Sire Records and release Tim. Again, this is, a bit more of like just a straight ahead alternative rock sounding record. A lot of maybe the punk is kind of fading into the background. This is an awesome album. Hold My Life, I'll Buy, Kiss Me on the Bus, Dose of Thunder, Waitress in the Sky, Bastards of Young, Left of the Dial, Little Mascara, Here Comes a Regular. I mean, just an awesome album. Can't say enough about this. And then we get Pleased to Meet Me, which I think this is my favorite record by them. It's certainly between these two, but on this one you get IOU, Alex Chilton, I Don't Know, Nightclub Jitters, The Ledge, Nevermind, Valentine, Red Red Wine, Skywake, and then Can't Hardly Wait, which is just a amazing track. But I remember how I got into the Replacements. I don't know that I'd heard them much in the early 80s or mid 80s when they started. I think it wasn't until about like 87 or 88. Well, this came out in 86, I think. Oh no, this came out in 87. Yeah, even when this came out in 87, I don't think I was that familiar with them. Actually, I think it wasn't until their next record came out. I probably should have saved the story for that. Well, let's move on. I've already talked about the tracks on this, so let's move on. Their next record is Don't Tell a Soul. And this one comes out, again, it's even more kind of, slowed down, alternative, less punk is kind of completely in the rearview mirror at this point. There's my ticket stub for the live show, the reunion thing, backed by Unpopular Demand, 2015. But this one, is probably their biggest quote unquote hit record. I don't know how far the charts the album went, but the first single, I'll Be You, was really popular on like alternative rock radio and probably charted on like the alternative rock Billboard chart. And I think that's where I first really discovered them. I may have heard them before that, but I'm not really, nothing sticks out in my memory. But so when I'll Be You came out in our great alternative rock station that I've talked about before, FM 106.3, was playing I'll Be You, and I'd hear it constantly, and I loved that song, and went out and picked up this record. And I really like this record. I know a lot of people have given it kind of like a bad rap. I think the band's given it a bad rap. They weren't thrilled with the production, and they've since remixed the album to sound more like what they wanted it to sound like. And I've heard some of those songs, some of the versions of those songs, and it's okay, but I think I still prefer this version over that. I guess they just maybe felt this was just a little bit too slick. The production was just a little too slick, but I really got into this. And then I remember hearing from this record, I remember hearing Alex Chilton and The Ledge, and those two songs, and that made me kind of go back and start picking up some of their older records. But yeah, I really like this record. They don't list the song titles on the back, which I remember when I had the CD and you have it in the CD player and you'd be like, what's the name of this song? And you'd have to like get the book out and everything to read the names, but they're on the CD here. Talent Show kicks it off. I really love that one. Back to Back, We'll Inherit the Earth, Aching to Be, which was released as a second single. I think it did fairly okay, but not as good as I'll Be You. I'll Be You might have even come close to hitting the top 40, I think. Anywhere's Better Here. My favorite song, Asking Me Lies, from this album was great. Rock and Roll Ghost, Darlin' One. Yeah, I really love this album. Whether you give it a bad rap or not, I like it, so what are you going to do? And then their final record, studio record, All Shook Down, comes out. And this record famously is essentially like a Paul Westerberg solo record. I think it was originally designed to be, and then they kind of brought in some of the replacements to kind of fill in some instrumentation here and there, making a replacements album. I don't know if they owed the label an album and that's why they did it or what have you, but you know, when it initially came out, I think the single was Merry Go Round, which was okay, just really mellow stuff on here. And when it first came out, you know, because at that point had become kind of a fan, had a handful of I had their last record and I had a handful of the previous ones. And I remember picking this up, you know, not long after it came out, and I don't know, it just underwhelmed me. I really was disappointed with it when it came out. And it wasn't until years and years later that I kind of gave it a second try. And now it's not a bad record. I like it certainly more now than I did when it came out. It's still, you know, still doesn't necessarily feel like a replacements album. It feels more like a Paul Westerberg solo record, of course. But I definitely like it a lot more than I did back in the day. So pretty good one. After that, you know, then the band was kaput for sure, you know. Paul Westerberg put out some solo stuff. Tommy Stinson's put out some solo stuff. I think he had like another band and everything. And, you know, there's, you know, they're, you know, okay here and there, good songs here and there, blah, blah, blah. But I never really paid that much attention to them, you know. But they put out like, you know, like a best of collection, maybe a couple of them with maybe some unreleased stuff and things like that. They've done a lot of reissues of their catalog over the years. And then a few years ago, what year was this? 2017, they put out this live record from 1986. And from Maxwell's, which was in Hoboken, which I've seen many shows at. Great venue that no longer does shows, unfortunately. So I picked this up when it came out. This is kind of the classic lineup of the band. And yeah, it's a really good collection, you know, just like a really good sample of kind of what maybe like experiencing a live show by the Replacements in all their drunken, sloppy beauty would be like, you know. Just captures the band, you know, which is, it's good that something like this exists. Yeah, it's a really good collection. I think they've put out maybe one or two other live records since then. So I don't know if they're kind of going through the vaults and just kind of whatever they're picking, they can find, they're releasing to the fans and stuff, which is cool. It's nice to do that for, you know, bands to do that. Some don't do it at all, but so it's nice that they're doing things like that. So yeah, that's my Replacements collection. Nothing outrageous, you know, all the standard things that if you were a Replacements fan, I'm sure you all have. But yeah, let me know what you think of the band. If you ever got to see them live, let me know what that was like back then. I'd be really curious to hear that. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you another time later on.